Well, the protests and now talk of an Olympic boycott are bringing back some bad memories, especially for a local swimmer. He was a part of the U.S. Olympic team in 1980, the year that we boycotted the Games in Russia.
Well, it infuriates me to no end. I mean, to be a part of history 28 years ago, that it didn't provide any desired result of, boycotting the Moscow Games in 1980, February 1.
Well, coming up in sports, we're going to hear more from Sacramento native Jeff Float. And Jeff, we're proud to say, eventually won a gold medal in the 1984 Olympics. But he believes the U.S. made a bad decision boycotting the Games in Russia in 1980. We're going back live to San Francisco in just a minute. But first, Brian here to tell us more about what else is happening.
You know, and all the turmoil that's going on with the Olympic torch helps us kind of look back and see some of the guys who've been here before. So speaking of Olympic protest, he's a former Olympian, local Olympian, who himself was part of Olympic turmoil in the past. Ryan Yamamoto standing by live to tell us more about Jeff Float. That's coming up in sports after this. Talks of an Olympic boycott and the protesting of the Olympic torch have upset local Olympian Jeff Float. He was part of the 1980 U.S. Olympic team that boycotted the Moscow Games. News 10's Ryan Yamamoto standing by live in the Information Center with more on his story. Ryan?
Well, Brian, in 1980, Sacramento native Jeff Float was favored to win the 3 Olympic gold medals in swimming, only to watch that dream die when the U.S. decided to boycott the Olympics. Today, Jeff Float works as a swim coach with the Gold River Stingrays and says watching those protests and talks of boycotting the Beijing Games just makes him sad. He believes Olympians can be ambassadors that can do more to bring the world together by competing compared to politicians who only hurt international relations by banning athletes from the games.
Well, it infuriates me to no end. I mean, to be a part of history 28 years ago, that it didn't provide any desired result of, boycotting the Moscow Games in 1980. It really doesn't solve the political problem at hand. The only thing that there is in the world that brings people together as opposed to tearing people apart, and I think when they use that as a means of tearing people apart, it defeats the purpose.
And Float did go on to win a gold medal in 1984 in the 800-meter freestyle relay team. He is also the first deaf person to win an Olympic championship. To hear more from Jeff Float, we have posted his entire interview on news10.net. This is something that is very passionate about him and maybe the only local athlete who can talk about a boycott and what that would mean to the athletes and to this entire country. Live from the Information Center, I'm Ryan Yamamoto. Brian, back to you.
Ryan, thank you. Very unique perspective.